17th, 1934. Madison Square Garden Bowl, Long Island City, New York. Welterweight champion Barney Ross makes the first defense of his crown against the challenger from Vancouver, Jimmy McLarnin, in a 15-round return match. Ring announcer Joe Humphreys begins the introductions. Ross won the title from McLarnin less than 4 months earlier in this same arena. The arena in which no champion has ever successfully defended a title. Barney Ross stands 5'7", nearly 2 inches taller than Jimmy McLarnin's 5'5½". But at 140 pounds, the champion is 6 pounds lighter than McLarnin. Here's Ross acknowledging the rousing cheers from the fight fans. Barney is managed by Sam Pian and Art Winch. The judges for this event are Tommy Shortell and Charlie Lynch. Ring announcer Humphreys introduces Jimmy McLarnin from Vancouver. The challenger was born in Ireland 31 years ago. He turned pro at the age of 20, and his manager is Pop Foster. Ross is 25 years old. He originally came from New York. Barney began boxing as an amateur when he was 17 and turned pro 3 years later after winning the Golden Gloves title. Referee Arthur Donovan gives both contestants and their cornermen last-minute instructions. Incidentally, before losing the crown to Ross, McLarnin won the welterweight title from Yum Corbett in Los Angeles on May 29, 1933, with a 1-round knockout. It was in his next fight that Ross outpointed him for the division honors, May 28, 1934. Ross, in the striped robe, beat Tony Canzoneri for the lightweight crown in September of '33. He's the first man to hold both the world's welterweight and lightweight titles at the same time. Round 1. Ross, with a stripe on his trunks, catches a left hook from McLarnin. You'll notice the champion carries his guard high, whereas the challenger keeps his fairly low. Here comes Ross with an overhand right. It was partially blocked by McLarnin's left glove. Jimmy McLarnin, you may have noticed, wears a shamrock on his trunks. Jabbing well with his left. McLarnin seeking an opening. He's effective with both hands. And more good jabs by Ross. Now watch McLarnin land a solid left hook. Although Ross is the faster of the two, McLarnin is regarded the harder puncher. In round 1, Ross has been scoring well with his jab. Ross goes into a deep crouch, looking for an opening. Watch him miss a left, only to catch a right to the ear by McLarnin. Jimmy's opening up now. He'll fire his left twice in succession. Left hook staggered Ross, but Barney lashes back. Watch him land a left hook. There's a lump over McLarnin's left eye. In the final moments, you'll see Ross scoring with a long-range left and right, but the round was awarded to McLarnin. Now let's go back for a closer look. Ross pulling back from McLarnin's left hook. Now McLarnin's about to miss a left and catch a counter left from Ross. Watch Jimmy fire his right, but Barney ducks low, sending his own glancing right to the jaw. Ross moves in, avoiding a left hook by McLarnin. Keep watching as Ross sets to fire 2 left hooks, followed by a hard right at the end of round 1. Barney Ross dropped the first round to Jimmy McLarnin despite a closing rally. But he seems to have found the range now. Ross on the left is about to fire a right-hand counterpunch. See those quick combinations by Ross? Combinations are punches put together in rapid sequence. Now they're both throwing leather. The faster man is 6 pounds lighter than McLarnin. McLarnin rushes in with left hook. He's fighting hard to regain his crown. Donovan tells them to break. Both men punching all out. But watch their defensive maneuvers. See how they roll and slip each other's punches? Look closely and you'll see McLarnin feint with head and shoulders. Ross jabbing well at the end of round 2. A better round for the champion. Now let's see how the action appears in slow motion. Here's McLarnin feinting with his left. Jimmy about to land a left and right, and Ross is short with his counter right. At this point, referee Donovan looks like a toe dancer. McLarnin lands with both hands, but he takes a counter right to the head by Ross. Now watch McLarnin land an overhand right to the ear. McLarnin uses a shoulder feint at the end of the round. McLarnin took round 3, and now we'll see him doing well in round 4. Ross on the left, using the more compact stance. McLarnin is more loose-jointed. Notice how he keeps his left arm low, seeking an opening. Here's Ross moving well and staying away. To jabbing now, and you'll see him score a combination to the head. Here comes a right to the jaw by McLarnin. Both men are very fast punchers. McLarnin lands a right-left combination, followed by an overhand right. The challenger is punching sharply in this round. Now watch Jimmy fire another solid right. As we approach the end of round 4, we've seen a good round for challenger Jimmy McLarnin. McLarnin lost round 5 on a low blow, but now in round 6, Jimmy will exhibit superior boxing ability. Wearing a shamrock on his trunks, is known as the fighter with the face of a choir boy, but the heart of a killer. He's scoring with that stiff left now. And a sneak right to the ear. McLarnin, jabbing with his left, will take a counter right by Ross before they go in close. McLarnin shooting out his left, fires his right. He's been accurate with both hands tonight. Once again, Jimmy cuts loose his right, seconds before the bell. McLarnin outboxed Ross in round 7. Now, round 8. Jimmy's been making good use of his excellent left hand tonight. Ross bullies his man to the rope with stinging left. He knows he's trailing in the fight. You can't help noticing the differences in stance. Ross fights straight up with a high guard. McLarnin's stance is much wider, and he keeps his left lower. Ross shoots in his right, but McLarnin was backing away. Now watch the challenger return a right-left combination to the head. Here comes McLarnin with those left hooks again. The champion comes back with his own left. Ross misses a right, but lands with his left, and there's a cut over Jimmy McLarnin's left eye. Both men have been relying mainly on their lefts as we near the end of round 8. McLarnin is leading in the fight, and Ross realizes it. In round 9, we're about to see a better frame for the champion, Barney Ross. Ross is now carrying the fight to McLarnin. Barney lands a right-left combination, but watch him catch a hard right to the jaw for McLarnin. Ross is finding McLarnin a much tougher fighter tonight. The last time they met, Jimmy was erratic from a long layoff. But now, he's back in shape and punching sharply. So far, Jimmy McLarnin never has failed to reverse the decision against a man who had beaten him previously. And he really wants to get his title back from Barney Ross. Ross doing better here in round 9. In the final seconds of the round, both men flurry with neither doing any real damage. Round 10 of this scheduled 15-round welterweight title bout between champion Barney Ross and challenger Jimmy McLarnin. This was the middle title match of their 3-bout series. Ross jabbing, gets over a good right cross, and McLarnin covers up as Barney tries for the body. Both men have maintained a terrific pace since the opening round. Ross, the faster puncher, and McLarnin, a fine boxer who carries a terrific wallop himself. McLarnin working his jab. The swelling over his left eye appears to be increasing. But Ross shows puffiness about the eyes, too. Watch McLarnin land 3 left hooks that sting Ross into action. And they slug toe-to-toe. Works on the body as he tries to bowl the heavier McLarnin to the ropes. In the final seconds, both men show battle scars from the solid punches they have absorbed. Ross took round 11 and will continue to do well. Barney misses a right, ducks low, and backs away. McLarnin's left eye is nearly closed now. You remember it began swelling rapidly in the 10th round. McLarnin, with his back to us, smothers Ross inside. Jimmy pounding away again with his left. McLarnin ties up Ross. Now toe-to-toe, both drive home solid blows. McLarnin hooks with his left, but catches 2 body smashes by Ross. McLarnin will block a Ross left, but he'll take a right to the jaw. Remember, if you're scoring the fight, the system used in 1934 was by rounds, with no supplementary points. McLarnin, jabbing, will double up to a hook at the end of round 12. But let's return to the action in round 12 in slow motion. Ross on the right, about to land a left-right combination. Watch. There's McLarnin banging left to the body, in close. Referee Donovan separating them. McLarnin, missing a left, takes a hard right counter. That was one of Ross's hardest shots, and it really snapped McLarnin's head back. Neither man lands solidly at the end of round 12. A good Ross round. Final round. Champion Barney Ross versus challenger Jimmy McLarnin. Ross bangs a hard right to McLarnin's jaw and begins exerting tremendous pressure. Having lost the 13th and 14th rounds, the only way he can save his crown is by a knockout. McLarnin trips, but comes right back. His left eye is completely shut now. Ross has cuts over both eyes. His mouth is bruised, and the left side of his body is red from countless rights to the rib area. Here comes Ross with a counter right, and McLarnin slips inside to avoid further blows. Ross going all out in this final round. More than 25,000 fans here in Madison Square Garden Bowl are wondering if he can knock out tough Jimmy McLarnin. So far, he's been fighting largely in flurries, whereas McLarnin has been punching his way through the full 3 minutes of every round. Look at Ross trying to spin McLarnin. He doesn't get away with it. Neither man wants to give ground here in the final 30 seconds. Watch McLarnin's hard right to the ear. Now here's the final slug session of the fight. Separates them, and it's all over. But let's see how the action flared in this final all-out 15th round. A hard right by Ross, and then McLarnin nearly loses his balance. McLarnin's punch grazes the head, and he trips. They touch gloves and go back to work. And you can see Ross rolling with these punches. There's Donovan prying them apart once more. He's done a good job of refereeing tonight. McLarnin brings up his right twice to the head. Joe Humphreys, the ring announcer, is about to read the decision of the officials. Judge Charlie Lynch scored it for Ross, 8 rounds to 6, with 1 round even. Judge Tommy Shortell disagreed, calling it 6-5 for McLarnin, with 4 even. Referee Donovan also thought McLarnin won with 10 rounds to 5 for Ross. And so, Jimmy McLarnin recaptured the world's welterweight title he had lost to Barney Ross over 4 months earlier in this same arena. September 17th, 1934. Madison Square Garden Bowl, Long Island City, New York. For Jimmy McLarnin, this was the big fight